Hi everyone and welcome to the channel. I am JP, and well, if you are watching this video, it's obviously because you might be interested in learning how to breed Cali lizards. If what you're looking for is an entertaining video, this might not be the one for you, because this is more on the educational side. But I do a lot of feeding videos with all of my lizards. So if what you want is to watch a fun video, then be sure to check my reptile feeding videos, because you will find those very entertaining. But on this video, I want to share my first experience with breeding Cali lizards. So that being said, I do want to say that I am no expert. I am completely new to breeding Cali lizards, and to be honest, lizards in general. I'm just here to share my experience and everything that I learned, and also to share my mistakes, because if somebody's going to try this for the first time, I prefer to for them to try to avoid the mistakes that I did. But first, I am going to give a big shout out to Alex Fuller, because he was the one that actually suggested this video. I wasn't sure if I wanted to make this video because, like I said, I am no expert. This is my very first time breeding Cali lizards, so I wasn't sure if I was going to do this video. But I believe that by sharing my experience, it will help somebody to know what to do, or at least know what not to do. Okay, I guess the first thing that I should say is to ask yourself as to why do you want to breed Cali lizards if you are watching to learn. At least for me, I can say that even 5 years ago, when I got my female, the very first time, I was not planning at all to breed Cali lizards. And well, what made me change my mind was actually after I got my male. After a year of keeping them, I fell in love with the species. I went from just keeping 2 to wanting 10. I wish I had the room to already have them, but I didn't have them at the time. I didn't have the room at the time. Now that I do, it's for sure that I will be getting more. But it's not just the love for how they look, also how they are. They have such big personalities that it's just impossible not to want more than one. But of course, it's not that, because if you plan on breeding them, obviously you will have to take care of the babies. So there is a responsibility right there. If you're doing this for the money, then just don't do it. When you're looking to just make some quick money because of lizards, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Here, I want my babies to go with parents that I know that will take really good care of them. Now, this species is such an amazing species, and to be honest, it is so underrated. And what I want to do is, be one of the few that are working with them, and basically to share all the love for them with others. And of course, one of the ways to do it is by breeding and offering more captive bred options. And hopefully, in a few years, we will see less and less wild caught. Okay, but anyways, now time to share a little more of the information that I'm supposed to be sharing already. But first of all, everything obviously starts with your pair. Okay, so everything started with these two guys, Zeus and Astrea, my male and female. This is the only pair that I have at the moment. Well, step one of breeding your Cali lizards is cooling them down. This is something that at least in my experience, I felt like it was necessary. I was told that sometimes they are able to breed without cooling them down, but I tried it and it didn't work. And even last year, when I did try to cool them down, I did not do it properly. And this is one of the mistakes that, of course, I'm gonna share with you guys. So last year, when I tried to cool them down the very first time, what I thought that I was supposed to be doing is that I was supposed to be lowering the temp of the setup. And of course, this being the hotspot. And I thought I was supposed to continue doing that to the point where I was simply going to just turn off the lights. Well, I was completely mistaken. And they were okay, and I never saw them sleeping, even though after I had I had basically turned off the hotspot. They were still active, and I just didn't understand why. So I just ended up bumping the temps up, because I knew I was doing a mistake. And well, to be honest, it was simply because I was ashamed to say I'm just not understanding. So I ended up doing that stupid mistake. So the proper way to cool them down, at least from what I learned after, and of course this is what I did, is that I was not lowering the temp of the basking spot. I was simply cutting down the hours. And of course they went from having 12 hours of daylight to 11, and then a week later 10, and then so on until it was only 1 hour. By the time that it got down to only 1 hour of the lights being on, they were already sleeping. They were not coming out, so they were already fully asleep. But I did make one more mistake, and this was more severe because it could have it could have actually caused big problems to my lizards. And that mistake was to leave them brumating inside the room. Now my reptile room normally stays in the 70s during the day, and of course it drops down to maybe 68 at night. That was a big mistake because I basically let them brumate when it was still warm for them, so their bodies were still active. Now what this meant is that they ended up waking up looking completely dehydrated and skinny. Especially my male, he was looking very, very skinny. Without me even turning on the lights, they just woke up. One day I came here, the lights were completely off and they were out. That's when I noticed that they had already woken up from this brumation. So that was, as I said, that was a big mistake that I want others to avoid completely. What you're supposed to do is cool them down all the way to 60. Some even do a little bit lower, but 60 would have been okay. And well, that's a mistake that I'm never going to do again. But the good thing is that they started drinking water. They were drinking water every single day. I was making sure that they were. And of course they started eating right away. So they gained their weight in less than a month. So by that time, I had already stopped thinking about breeding them, because I thought maybe it was actually going to have some bad effects, especially on the female, because she's the one that is developing the eggs. And I actually never saw them breeding, never saw any even attempts of breeding. But I did see my male chasing my female every once in a while, which is completely normal to breeding color lizards. And well, probably about 2 months, I believe, after them waking up, my female was flushing, which that meant that she was gravid. Now, as I said, I didn't see any mating, so I wasn't even sure if she was going to lay fertile eggs. But still, of course, as you're supposed to do for any female that is developing eggs, I provided a lay box, which is very simple. It is simply a Tupperware filled with moist sand. I used wash play sand, as most color lizard breeders do, and simply a hole in it, so that is basically the entrance. Okay, probably just a few weeks after that, I noticed that she was definitely developing the eggs. You can tell right away the female has big lumps on the sides of the stomach, and and well, obviously those are the eggs. So I already knew that she was about to drop them, whether they were fertile or not. And well, finally, she laid them. But of course, getting fertile eggs from the female is obviously the only half the way. Now you still have to take care of those eggs, and I'm gonna show you everything that I used for that. Now, of course, the very first thing that you need is an incubator, and well, this is the one that I used. It is simply a chicken egg incubator that you can buy from the tractor store. These are very cheap, but it did the job. So this is called a Little Giant styrofoam incubator. But of course, if you have your own preference of an incubator, you can go ahead and choose your own. It doesn't have to be this one. And I will say one thing that I noticed with this incubator. On the very first days that I turned it on, I set the thermostat to 85, and of course I put also thermostats, little thermostats like this one inside of it, just to make sure that it was getting to the temps, and it was not getting to the temp that it was supposed to. And well, so simply what I did is that I bumped it up to 87, and inside of it, it stayed at 85. That is one thing that I noticed right away. So I just kept it like that, and of course every single day I came here to check, and it would always stay at 85. Now for the eggs, I simply went with this kind of dishes. Now I will say that a container that is a little bit taller or deeper, yeah, would be better. Just to give a little bit more space to the babies once they hatch. Now inside of it, I used lava rock. So this was basically a very, very small layer, basically just a few rocks in the bottom. And then of course I used vermiculite. This is what I used, and well, to be honest, I cannot take credit for this. This is something that I learned from my buddy Brandon, and of course I learned it especially from his video, which I will put a picture right here. Just in case you want to look exactly what he did, I simply did the same thing. Now of course, as you know, the vermiculite has to stay moist, and well, that is where the lava rock helps, because it will help to keep moisture. And even though if you add a little bit more water than you should, well, it's basically acting like a drainage layer, which is really smart if you ask me. I was actually advised to open the lid a little bit every day or every other day. Now I did this, but not every day. I was doing this once a week. So I was not opening the lid too much, especially because I didn't want the moisture to leave. And of course, it was just time to wait for the babies. Now mine took exactly 49 days to start hatching. 3 of them hatched at 49 days, and then the rest at 50 days. Okay, and well, this is the result. A baby cali lizard. I do not want it to jump. It is way too small to to drop it, but I did want to show you, even if it was something quick. I am very pleased to see that I was able to hatch these babies, even though not everything that I did was perfect. As I said, this is my very first experience, breeding my cali lizards, and well, for this winter, I guarantee you that none of the mistakes that I did, I'm gonna make them. Once the babies turn a month old, or a little bit older, I do plan on making a video on how to take care of the babies. So if that is something that you are interested in watching, be sure to subscribe. And well, of course, if you are interested in learning more about any other of my lizards, feel free to ask. I am starting to get more and more suggestions, and of course I couldn't be happier. Now I wish this was a little bit more entertaining, but you know, when it comes to information, I believe that it's just better to just be clear instead of making jokes. Well, I believe that that was everything, every single step that I did to be able to breed my cali lizards. So hopefully for those of you that are thinking about it, you know, hopefully this helps. And well, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video right here. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like, and please subscribe if you haven't. And I will see you next week.